Welcome to the shit show.
Well, it is the All Elite Wrap-Up for September 12th, 2024. I am Tim over here without Tom. Without half of the equation here. So I need somebody to be my eyes and ears. If you're in the chat, let me know. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we live? And if you're listening back on the podcast, this might sound silly, but we encourage you to hit us up. AllEliteWrapup.com will give you all the links you need, but you can find us on the YouTube, where we do this show live, typically every Thursday night, typically at 7 p.m. Mahomes Standard Time, Central Standard Time, as it were. But, you know, sometimes things are off. So I'm doing it a little bit early. We've got the WWND, the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod in the chat. Thank you for being here. They say we can hear and see you, so that's awesome. I'm happy to be here. We're going to do this in a fun way. So everybody, please join in, because Tom's not here. I need your help. So chime in, chat with us. But Tom kind of is here. Tom is here in that we got Tom's reactions to All Out that I'll be playing throughout the evening, right? I got some clips that I'll play, and then I'll turn it back over to you all in the chat live with us, and we can kind of discuss if need be. And I'll follow up with the fallout from the All Out and discuss what's happened on Dynamite. And Jesus, a lot happened, didn't it? A lot happened on Dynamite. I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm pumped, and I want you all to get involved, not just because Tom's here, but because we like that every week, because we like diversity and voices around here. Tom and I are some middle-aged, middle American white dudes, and I understand that's a critically underrepresented voice in podcasting, but, you know, sometimes it can't just be all us, right? We need some other voices in here, and we need folks to, to join in the chat, as it were, right? So I'm just going to get right into this. I'm going to start playing our initial stuff that we had with our All Out conversation that we had with Tom. It's kind of the initial reaction about All Out and a fun other little topic here. Tom, I'm glad we sat down and recorded this for the fine folks to see, because I know you really had a lot to say about this pay-per-view. You viewed it very highly. You have some great praise for it. But most importantly, people want to see the shirt. Where are you going, Tom? You hiding? You're like dipping down?
I gotta lean over. I have a stomach ache, so you gotta like. Oh,
so
boy.
You don't think you want to like extend and let the gastrointestinal tract stretch out a little?
Doctor said, don't extend. Don't show.
Doctor said,
t-shirt.
hunch over.
Yes,
at your desk.
He said, imagine this: you're not showing off a graphic tee. Like that's the recommendation. So, here I am, guys, just hanging out.
Fun fact, Tom, I too have a doctor of Facebookotomy, and I think that you should extend. I think you should show. This is your second opinion. You should try it. You should like extend and show people the fun shirt that you get to wear. Your favorite shirt is finally back.
I'm conflicted. Let me tell you, I'm conflicted. So, as you mentioned, I do want to talk about this. I won't be able to record when we usually do, because I'll be in Seattle at the time that you're seeing this. So I'm conflicted. One, not kidding, this is probably my favorite pay-per-view of all time. It's in the small group. All Out 2021, SummerSlam 2002, WrestleMania 19. Like, there's a small group for me of my favorite pay-per-views, but this one might be the top.
It's really good.
But then I'm conflicted because I lost, and now I have to wear the Jeff Jarrett shirt, which sucks. Tim, this shirt itches all the time. It just itches all the time. And now I'm doing bad things. I tripped an old person trying to cross the street. I tried to swindle my neighbor out of his savings account because, you know, that's what Jeff Jarrett would do. And so it's making me do really awful things. Yeah. So I really got to get this off.
I told you one of the last things I did while I was still in possession was I bought cream colored pants. I was like, oh no, this is too close to white. I was like, this damn shirt. Not a moment too soon was I able to transfer this out of my home so I can stop making bad decisions, Tom.
This is not good. I don't enjoy really the shirt at all. So I want to talk about it, but I kind of want to do it.
I was thinking about doing the handlebar mustache and dyeing it yellow.
No. That's overstaying my welcome.
that is all for you now, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. I feel lighter. I feel like the weight has been lifted off. I feel like hopeful about the future. It's okay, maybe not. Maybe that's going too far.
Yeah, can your favorite pay-per-view also cause you stress and depression?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question I hope we answer here today. So Tim,
I
let's
had
talk
to though.
about it.
I had to knock this one out of the park. I had to get it all 100% right because it came down to the final thing,
And
which
you
would have been a
did.
tiebreaker, and I got it all. I hit them all. And you missed too. You missed the Willow match and the Swerve and Hangman, and we'll get into those. I'm excited to talk about those and hear your thoughts while the rest of the folks play along with us in the chat. Yeah, that shirt looks so much better on Tom. I feel free. I feel light. I feel good. I feel good, guys. I feel good. I hope you're feeling good. We're going to talk about all these all-out things, the Dynamite things. I also want to bring up, if you're playing along, enjoy yourself a nice beverage. I told myself I was only going to have 2 beers during this podcast. And the reason I told myself I was only going to have 2 beers during this podcast is there was only 2 beers left in the fridge when I opened it. So this is where we need the beer sponsors of the week to come in. Join the dozens of folks who've done this before. Send us some money via the PayPal or the Cash App, which you can find the links to on alleatwrapup.com. Say, get some beers. Either give us a recommendation or just say, take your pick. We'll drink those beers and tell everybody how great you are. And you're great. You know you're great, and we're going to tell everybody else about it while we drink the beer that you bought us. It's a great thing. Everybody has a good time. Now, Tom is not having a great time in the shirt. I don't think he wore it to Seattle. He probably did. I think he secretly likes it. But we'll talk about that more throughout the evening as we discuss things throughout the night about All Out. Let's just talk first off what kicked off with All Out as everything. It's always the 0 hour.
First off, we had a 0 hour, the pre-show. I don't think much happened here. You had Acclaim versus Iron Savages, Premier Athletes versus Hologram, Dustin Rhodes, who won last ride, is still doing it. Sammy Guevara, what else? Bang Bang versus Dark Order. Good to see Dark Order. And then here's where I guess you could say one bit of news happened. You had Tony Schiavone bring out Sky Blue. And earlier in the day, it was announced that Mariah May would do her championship celebration. So instantly, I don't know if you saw this, chatter, people started to speculate, as they do. And they thought, well, this is interesting. Typically, interview segments are not advertised for pay-per-views. Could this mean Becky Lynch, right? Or could this mean a new feud? Well, we didn't get that. So we got it on the 0 hour. Sky Blue comes out. Mariah May comes out then. And she says, I'm not going to do the championship celebration. Okay. So we keep prolonging this championship celebration. Maybe we are going to get some type of payoff. Like maybe it's like, stop fucking saying that we're going to do another championship celebration. And then boom, it's the big thing, But essentially what she does here is she kicks out the crutch for Sky Blue, who has a broken ankle, and then pushes her down. And then Queen Aminata comes out and chases her off. So how do you feel, I guess, about this segment and then about a potential Queen Aminata Mariah May feud?
I think that's fine to do if we say, hey, Mariah May is going to be holding this for a while, so we want to score her some victories, and we think this will help get some other people some exposure that they otherwise wouldn't, right? But I'm not expecting anything big out of this, I guess. I have also, this might be ignorance to me, have not really been watching a lot of those, the undercard shows, if you will. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen much of Queen Aminata. Like, I know they've spent some time on her, and so I'll leave that up to others to tell me. So, I mean, I'm not expecting much, but I don't expect bad things here.
Yeah, and maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into this. It could just be a match for Dynamite, right? It could just be, hey, Mariah May needs a match for Dynamite. How can we just make it happen? Here's a segment. So I think that was the biggest bit of news from the 0 hour. You also had Undisputed Kingdom and then Top Flight, Beast Mortis, who still fucking rules.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Then Shane Taylor Promotions.
So the 0 hour is usually nothing to kind of write home about, right? And I think that's what we were met with here. I don't think there was a whole lot. We did get that match that Tom was talking about on Dynamite with Mariah May defending, well, it was an eliminator match against Queen Nominata. But also, there wasn't much to write home here about that with that specific match. And you might disagree with me here in the chat or not, but there wasn't a whole lot, done for Queen Nominata. Do her any favors, I don't feel like. And Mariah May didn't come out looking like more of a badass or anything. It just got us to the post-match where she basically, Mariah May then goes to cry about missing Mina Shirakawa, which is interesting, and we'll get more on that story, but I don't know what else really, I know we know about Mina and Mariah May, and they told us a little bit on AEW about their past, but we never really did a whole lot centered around that, right? I think it was more about Toni Storm than anything else. So, I like that Mariah May got this title, but I don't know where we're going here. The Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod says they'll kiss more, shrug. I think that, I'm a little... Look, there's avenues where I can find plenty of videos of that going on, where it'll be a little bit more about that, right? And I don't need to do it on the wrestling. So, I mean, all about the love triangles and the stories in wrestling, but this feels like it's just kissing for the sake of kissing, as it were. So we'll wait. We'll be positive and patient. But we kicked off the real show of All Out is where we really get interesting.
MJF versus Daniel Garcia. And I'll just say this before I get your feedback. It's pretty incredible the high quality of fun that I had for this pay-per-view, that in preparing to do this quick little, recap with you, I was like, oh yeah, MJF and Daniel Garcia. Like, and that's not to say this match was bad. This match ruled. This had all the fun MJF, spots in it, right? It took MJF matches. I don't know about you, but like, I think they rule. I'm always having a good time watching MJF.
Always really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And this one was no different. So we had MJF, Daniel Garcia. Tim, what do you think about our first opening contest?
A key moment, kind of along the same things that you're saying there, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Taz or maybe Excalibur. One of them said, I didn't expect to see Daniel Garcia getting out wrestled here. It was Matt Menard. Said I didn't expect him to see him get out wrestled here. And I kind of thought, you should have. MJF has told us in several matches he can go on the mat, right? Like he can get down there and do the technical stuff and do it really well. He's not just like, we don't say he's good in the ring because he has the 5 moves of doom, right? And knows how to like work the crowd. No, he can do technical wrestling. He can do any kind of match, it seems. And I thought they really pulled off great storytelling here. Am a little interested in the turn of the story.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So again, we get all of our fun spots from an MJF match, crowd work, heel work, babyface work from Garcia. Because again, Daniel Garcia also held his own in this match.
Matt Menard on commentary was doing a great job helping this story. Yeah.
I still miss 2.0, but maybe RIP to that.
We still don't have a reason for why Matt Menard is such the guy, or like why,
why it continues.
But he is.
Yeah. So interesting bit of news here, though. So at the end, we get MJF distracts the referee, low blow, covers him, 1, 2, 3, haha. Then he goes for a handshake, and Garcia's like, "You son of a, you know what? All right." And classic MJF fashion, he goes to actually kick him in the dick. Garcia knew it the entire time, and then he gives him, I guess it's called an avalanche pile driver. It's a pile driver from the second rope. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. And that looks to have taken out MJF. I don't know if we end this feud, because it would be weird for Garcia to just be like, and now the next person. And MJF just like, I beat you. I guess I go on, So what do you think?
I don't know what to think. And also, the behind the scenes stuff is saying that it's still up in the air on whether Garcia is actually here or not, and I know what you said is like, we're not going to give him a big spot if he's not here. But well, now we kind of didn't give him a big spot, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, now they did let him come away in the end, right? He did lose the match, but I guess he did come away looking strong in the end here. So yeah, I don't really know. I guess we will not see MJF for a while, which will be an interesting little mini run that he had here. But what for Garcia now? He lost, but he got his little FU moment.
Fuck you. The thing that I was thinking about, and just because I had remember previous interviews that Tony Khan has done where he had mentioned the Continental Classic's coming up, right? Continental Classic, it's coming up. I think maybe that's where we're going with Garcia, is a tournament to become a number one contender or the champion in the whatever tournament Continental Classic thing is now. I could see that. And then I could see at the moment that he's going to beat, let's just say Okada, right? Then MJF goes, "Hey, you forgot about me, dickhead," and then hits him in the old, twig and berries there. That might happen, right? I don't know, but I don't think we're moving on. But I do agree with you. When MJF took the Tiger Driver 91 3 weeks ago or whatever that is, and now a pile driver from the second rope, again, if we're staying true here, your neck would be fucked for a long time. So, yeah, I don't know if we see him, but I think we see him when Garcia, comes up into a big moment that this is his time. And then MJF goes.
MJF comes out and gives him the old Kansas City punt. Tom, I gotta say, that shirt looks like it's like slowly starting to like get tighter around the neck. Like it's
I'm not joking. Okay. This is a shoot, brother. I'm getting hot. Like I'm legitimately starting to sweat in this fucking thing. I was fine all day until I put on this shirt.
Got a fever.
Which thank you so much for coming to my house this morning to make sure I had this fucking shirt.
I knew you weren't going to come out of your way at all to come get this thing. I was I bet he doesn't even answer the door. I bet he's going to be like, nope, I was going to leave it right there on the front porch. Yeah. It feels so good. I think I lost 3 times, I think, in a row or something. Like that was the longest run.
Yes.
It's your turn now.
Well, you will lose 3 times more next turnaround.
Well, time will tell, right? I think the shirt still, I don't want to give Tom too much praise. I don't want his head to swell, but that shirt looks so much better on him, right? Like, it looks fit. Looks like it's great. Great stuff. Yeah, so we saw essentially nothing about MJF or Garcia on Dynamite from the fallout from this, so I don't really know. It was fine. Match was fine, right? They did a really good job. It was a great opening match. As I said, I like the angle that MJF took him to the mat. I just, it happened, right? I don't know, there's no major story here, right? So, yeah, when one of these guys comes back first, I guess, maybe we'll hear more. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. But we're going to talk about... Yeah, and I like Tom's thoughts too. So the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod chiming in the chat here, which please, if you're watching, chime in on the chat. I don't have Tom here. We need your help, but you're invited every week to join in the chat. Yes, Tom's thoughts are good here, and I would probably have some questions for him that he would book really well, like what to do moving forward with both of these guys. But yeah, I do think Garcia maybe, if he's around, he's Billy Badass, right? So they put him through some things, let him win a few things and flex his muscle and become a contender. But let's get back to All Out. The EVPs retain their tag titles, and we're going to talk about it.
Next up, we had a World Tag Team Championship match. Young Bucks, EVPs, I like to call them, because that's better, because they're old. Not
so their
old,
move is the EVP
older.
trigger. They're the EVPs.
Yeah, they're older. I'm not saying they're old, but they're older. So let's stop calling each other the Young Bucks, all that stuff. But they're taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, which we'll hear from later on in the night, of Claudio Castagnoli and Willer Yuta. So I think the Blackpool Combat Club story is what we'll talk about later. So let's talk about the tag team division. So the Young Bucks get the victory here. It looks like, again, we're foreshadowing here, that they're not going to rematch the Blackpool Combat Club, right? So that doesn't seem to be another rematch type of thing. So what do you make of the tag team division?
I think you just brought in the grizzled young veterans, so you could probably squeeze here's our tag team title feud out of that. Mm-hmm. But then, barring the Outrunners going on a huge run that they're like, oh, it's time. I just don't, what I mean? Like
the Outrunners.
I don't have faith that is where they're going to be like, yeah, let's go with these fellas. Quite yet, right? Like right away. So yeah, I don't know what they do next. Yeah. We will talk about the BCC, though. I think they were laying some of the groundwork for the deeper storytelling in this match because they were talking about, you'll catch part of the conversation was they were like, oh, of course Claudio sees Wheeler now as an equal, right? They were like, for the longest time he didn't, but like, I'm sure now they've won titles and then blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe he doesn't quite, as we'll find out later, right? And maybe more to follow. We'll see.
And let's also not forget, this is 2/3 of your trios champs. You got Pac as the third member of the trios champs with Claudio and Yuta. And again, we'll get to it here in just a moment.
Yeah, what do you do? I mean, so we've got FTR boring now, right?
No.
Like, I don't know what to do.
Well, FTR isn't boring, but I would.
But just the idea of FTR and Young Bucks and Acclaimed is,
they're
is boring now.
They're cold.
Actually,
quick note about the Acclaimed though. Well, quick note about the Acclaimed. Max Caster did not rap as he walked out. Now, I believe that's the second match in a row. So we might be getting we're serious heel Acclaimed. So we'll see what that looks like. I like if you're
serious heel Acclaimed, but we still need raps. We just need more sinister, evil, rude raps.
Yeah, add a different beat. Maybe make it like a Hangman, more sinister type of thing. Not a Hangman beat, but you get what I'm saying.
Just an actual diss on the person, less for the pops of the crowd.
Yeah.
Just to be like, that's fucked up. Talk about his mom that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Cut
Sweet
deep
lady.
cut deep how Christian cut deep at the start of this whole you don't have a father thing.
Yes.
But those were some vicious insults, right?
Yes.
Maybe go that route. But with the tag team division, I've always been a fan of Strike while the iron is hot, but not at an apex. And the Outrunners are that. It's being reported on reputable websites that the Outrunners are outselling Swerve, Hangman, EVPs, damn near everyone, I believe.
They need a shirt. Have you seen that photo where they put out where they got their arms like?
Yes.
Yes. Give me a shirt
like
of that.
The Predator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Turbo, you son of a bitch. And then they do
they're just energy. They're just energy, right? It's like you just exploded energy out of the curtain. And who's not going to get behind it and want to cheer along? Yeah, you have to strike while the iron's hot. That's what I was saying about the Acclaimed. Like, they did it, right? They were like, all right, the Acclaimed is here now. Everybody loves them. Give them the titles because this is going to run its course. Right? Like, now, after a while, we're going to be like, all right, we did that enough, right?
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't give them the titles, but I would give them a match with the EVPs. What I would do, though, the quickest way to do this is the EVP say, hey, we have a certain standard here at AEW, and we don't know what the hell this team is doing.
Yeah.
So we're going to clean this up.
This is how we do things in 2024 in AEW, right?
Yeah. We don't know. And you know what? Even to let him, you know what I would do? Even have the EVPs go, we let Toni Storm do her nonsense stuff because we're a little afraid of Toni Storm, but you Outrunners, we're done with.
But you just hit what I was just coming. We've been calling for 80s Toni Storm, battling Wendy Richter.
The Outrunners,
we get a little faction here. I know they're not saying they're 80s, but like,
Well, but the Outrunners do, and forgive me, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they do have a female manager. She's doing the glow, hands.
True, that's true. That's true.
But that's what
you might get fired though. You get bumped for Toni Storm, man. I don't.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I
would
would
just
do that.
have them cross, and then that's how she gets touched with the 80s.
Yeah, maybe. But that's what I would do for the EVPs. Just be like, hey, we have a certain standard here, even though we hate them. Look how FTR handles their business. Look at how now the Acclaimed who don't rap handle their business. They could even allude to that, right? And they're like, so this nonsense of the fist pumps and the flexing and stuff, you guys don't even have muscles. Are you guys even as big as Wardlow? And then boom, right there.
We could get an Acclaimed is like, Billy Gunn is ashamed of them, right? Like they're like, what the hell? This isn't working anymore. They're down on their luck. They turn into the Young Bucks. They're like, all right, we don't understand. Like, how do we maintain success? Like, you guys have done this for decades. Like, what's wrong? And we get a corporate Acclaimed trying to do what the Young Bucks are saying, changing them, right? There's no more raps. You don't do that. That's what kids do, right? And then they like occasionally catch Max Caster in the back, like practicing raps. Like, come on, man, right? Act right. And he's like, oh shit, right? Like, we could get a fun segment squeezed out of that, right? Now, that's longer term. That's not an immediate battle for the Young Bucks, but you know what I mean? Like that.
Well, I actually think you could just do that with Billy Gunn. Speaking about the Acclaim, just have Billy Gunn being like, hey, you fuckers are losing now every goddamn match. You know how me and Road Dogg did it? We did it this way. Road Dogg rap, just like you, Max. But guess what we did backstage? We didn't fucking work on the shit. It was just freestyle. So let's get the fuck out there. You're not doing it tonight. And then, God damn it, I think we could do that. But
could do that.
Let's move away from let's move away from the tag team division. But as mentioned, the EVPs are still your tag champs.
EVPs are still the tag champs, and it felt like on Dynamite we were doing we're coming out and showing you that we actually do have a really robust tag team division. So there's been a little bit of heat online about that. And we had the FTR, the Grizzled Young Veterans, Fletcher and Ospreay, the Acclaimed, the motherfucking Outrunners, the Righteous, Top Flight, Undisputed Kingdom. This is all great. A lot of great tag teams here. But it kind of felt like we just used this to set up the Don Callis family implosion stuff with Ospreay and Fletcher involved here. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think the answer to you guys don't have a good, competent tag team division is, no, look, we're going to make Fletcher and Ospreay the number one contenders out of nowhere. Just feels a little odd. I know there's more story to be told, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of tag teams here that you could deal with. I mean, you got the Outrunners. You put these guys in a situation just bumping into anybody, and you have a reason for somebody to be mad at them, right? Like, they're going to annoy them. It's going to be great. The Acclaimed, obviously, we know what they can do. Top Flight and the Acclaimed going after, you know what I mean, or just being in the same bars running into each other could be a problem, right? Like, there's the Righteous trying to convert people to whatever it is they are. You get a couple tag team feuds out of that. They just need some more focus on those stories, which means TV time. I mean, there's rumors in the works that something's on Fox or whatnot, but I don't know. I don't know what to do here with this, right? Like, Fletcher and Ospreay are going to face the Young Bucks, and that's going to be, some people will call that a dream match, I guess. They're going to be the flips all over the place. But I feel like that's all we're going to get. And it also I'm questioning this because of where I thought we were going with Ospreay and Ricochet, and we'll chime in here with that about what happened during the Ospreay-Pac match.
Then we get to our international championship match, Will Ospreay versus Pac. This had all the flips and shits, but I will say this. I'm not a fan of the flips and shits. Tim, I don't think you are either, as longtime listeners will know. However, it felt like it made sense in this regard because, like, as Excalibur and even Ospreay said on Collision, hey, everywhere I went, they kept telling me that I'm not good as you.
Of course.
Pac. So the like tit for tat, like, okay, you want to do a spinning-roo, pile driver pedigree? I can fucking do that too. So it made sense in that regard.
Honestly, yeah, that little promo that he had before the match, backstage, I think it was with Renee maybe, where he said that he was like, ducking you, pal, right? Like, I've been chasing you everywhere I go. You're the bar, right? Like, I thought it was really good. That was one of the best promos of this feud right forward. I was like, all right, I'm investing in this. And you're right. Yeah, it is not my favorite style, but when you say, I am the king of this shit, the person goes, you are the king of this shit until I fucking, take the crown. And then it becomes, well, let's see it, guys, right? Let's see who's got it.
Because then, to your point, then it makes sense. I'm not going to just do a backflip off the top rope. I'm going to do 2 flips in the air backflip because you did 1. Yeah. So, bitch, I'll do 2.
While I'm grabbing my crotch and flipping you off, right? Just to say that I can because you can't, right? Like, I love that.
And there were so many good spots in here. We don't want to go through all the spots, but one of the better matches. Yeah, one of the better matches.
The triple spinning over your ball sack plancha drive is the one.
Yes, obviously. Yeah. But one of the better matches of the year, one of the best matches in AEW history. Definitely liked it. Will Ospreay gets the victory, and we'll just kind of go out of order just a little bit. We catch up with Will Ospreay backstage, or excuse me, we catch up with Ricochet backstage. No. I apologize.
You're right.
Take 2. We catch up with Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay's like, and Will Ospreay is like, hey, that was fun, but there's a guy here that, man, I wish he'd get his shit together. And Ricochet goes, you talking shit?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what he says. He goes, you talking shit on me?
I kind of like this because it now brought Ospreay down a little bit off of the, hey, I'm everybody's favorite, right? Like nobody can say anything bad about me.
And his name is John Cena.
Right. And then brought him down a little bit. Right? He's got like a personal little, right? He's got like a personal little gripe, right? Because he was just like, yeah, cool. Did this thing, had an amazing match. Finally toppled a guy I said I couldn't wait. I've been chasing him all over, but now I'm ready to stand on business on this motherfucker, right? Like this dude. And then I love that Ricochet, this is what people have been trying to tell us, right? Like maybe we haven't seen Ricochet get a chance to be himself, right? And here was a little more attitude than we've ever got to see out of Ricochet over at that other company, right? Because he literally comes up, he's like, hey, I'm over here doing my thing, man. And you're just like, talking shit for what? Like, fuck you, we got a problem? Like, didn't even ask, like, what, like, why would you be talking shit? Is this like, do we have a problem? Like, he was ready to bring it, man. These two, I feel like, are going to do the same thing we just saw here, right? They're going to be like, no. You think you guys were battling for the best? Bitch, they talk about me, not you.
Yeah, it's interesting the angle that we're taking with this as well, because it's not mean-spirited as of right now. It sounds to me in this regard, Will Ospreay is saying, man, you used to be the shit. You used to be great. And then you come here and then you're not doing a thing. What the hell? I want to see the greatness. And I think Ricochet's point is, hey, don't you fucking worry about me. Okay.
Yeah, you like, thanks, champ. Like, what do you?
Yeah. Thanks for the compliments. And you're right. But don't think that like I won't kick you upside your head or do a flip on your dick. You know what I mean?
But I like this too, that it's the face champion. He's the one calling out and talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, well, he's like,
you know, in a different regard, obviously not the same stakes, but in the same kind of vein, I guess you would say, is it feels a little bit like the Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, right? Where Ric Flair was like, I'm the greatest of all time. Now he was doing do I have it anymore? Not that, right? It's not the same thing. But Shawn Michaels was saying like, I'll take you out and prove to the point that like, you can't hang anymore with the young guys, which I represent that next generation of.
Yeah. So you don't want to admit it and we have to prove it. I mean, that's on you, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. So we'll see what happens there, but that looks to be the next angle for Will Ospreay and Pac.
Not bad. I like it.
And Pac we'll talk about in just a little bit.
Yeah, Pac. Yeah, if you had any wonders about what Pac is going to do next, I think we find out. Yeah.
Yes.
We do find out about Pac a little bit. That doesn't seem to be the angle, though. It looks like we're taking a pause on that because we're doing this Ospreay Fletcher thing with the tag titles. And we got Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara on Dynamite, which, again, is a great match. Don't get me wrong. These guys are doing all the things, and everybody would like to see it. But if we're wondering where we can squeeze in tag team story television time, maybe it's there. And I like Beast Mordos spearing somebody. That's awesome. I will always like that. But again, that feels like that was a collision thing. And it kind of feels like we're like, hey, Ricochet, glad you're here. We'll think of something to do with you in a few weeks. Promise. And so I don't know. Chime in the chat. Again, hit us up. You can always send us emails and we'll read those on the next show. Or you can send an audio video clip in those emails. We'll play them here. If you want to dive deeper into some of these topics or if you're in the chat now. But yeah, I don't really... Ricochet versus Beast Mortals will also be cool matches if we get that. But like, you know, I thought we were getting a story here of like Ricochet and Will Ospreay Pride on the line. And we'll get there eventually. We will get that eventually. So here's something that was really cool.
We get the queen of this shit, Willow Nightingale, which I don't think she's ever had. I don't think she's ever had a bad street fight in AEW.
And she came out ready for this one.
Fucking ruled. Chris Statlander's the other competitor in this, and she also kicks all the ass.
Of course.
She held her own. There was a little bit of, so look, the spots are bonkers, right? We get light tubes. We get a backflip that Willow actually doesn't get all the way out of and gets kicked in the back of her head, which, you know, whatever. We get Stokely Hathaway in a RIP New Jack chair that he brings to the ring, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, this had it all. This was awesome. We had a split, a mixed axe handle, axe kick, a mixed axe kick with the lovely parts first on the thumbtacks. And, right? But here's the only thing that
right in the stat landing zone right there.
Yes. Yeah. And everything was awesome. I'd give this a 15 out of 10. The only little criticism I would give is I didn't completely understand Statlander grabbing we got to connect at the wrist type of, at the end when she's like connecting.
Yeah.
Willow was never running away.
Yeah, exactly.
And the finish was you just wrapping it around her face and throat. So like, that was a little bit of a,
I agree.
What the fuck are we doing? But everything else was awesome. Oh, I also liked, Willow. I don't think they did a good enough job of like showing it, but she seemed conflicted at every point when there was a little bit of a stopping point. There was a little bit of like, God damn it, are we doing it? And even to the point when they stood up, Willow kind of looked at Statlander and was like, okay, like we're good, right? And Statlander's like, I am, bitch, you won't be. So, but what do you think? What were your favorite spots or moments from this?
Tugging at my heart at the innocence of Willow, even though she is the queen, the goddess of this shit, right? She feels bad that she's going to have to murder you, but she will smile anyway. Man, again, same thing you could say, right? Just awesome, hitting all the spots. Like I said, comedic relief with Stokely when needed. Interesting at the ending there. I kind of thought, I was like, oh, that happened kind of out of nowhere real fast, but we're there. Yeah, I think the story continues. The rivalry and feud will continue with these two, right? And I think there will be layers to tell over the years.
You think?
It may not be immediately. I don't think it'll be like right away, right? This will be something we revisit down the road. Because again, maybe we get Willow gone for a little bit. I don't know. Not everybody who loses a big match like this obviously be gone for a bit, but I mean, at least get them a couple weeks break. I feel like when you go through a match like that, right? Take a couple weeks off, right? Go to the beach.
We talk about, or excuse me, we've heard feedback from this pay-per-view that it was ultra violent. And I feel like it started with this match. MJF, Daniel Garcia also had some good violence, and obviously Will Ospreay and Pac had different style of aerial, like, God damn, it took a poison rana on the apron, those kind of things. But this was like oh shit, light tubes. Okay. Now we've turned it up a notch. And I don't know, because it was interesting that Willow like gave up but didn't tap out. If you notice, she just waved her hand like I can't do this anymore kind of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's next for her, because it's weird that the babyface gave up. You know what I mean? Yeah. She didn't pass out. She didn't, as we saw with Swerve later
maybe
down.
You just play into her being conflicted about, having to do this and, valued the friendship. Maybe she could steal her back away from Stokely, right? Maybe this becomes about Stokely's evil, plans.
Well, you know what it could turn into? Stealing a little bit from the other company, as we saw with Liv Morgan go from like, hey, I'm here to have fun. This is great. And then I can't remember who turned the hardcore match style out of her. And now she's just a girl that's like, yeah, I'll cut your throat out. It's fine. What's up? Right. So maybe this is the turn of we stop the kick, right? Dun, 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 dun. Like we stop that and we just go, no, I'm here to collect a check and fuck you up. This ain't, I ain't here to make friends anymore. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens for both of them. Even Statlander, where does she go from here? Right? She wins, but there's no real clear direction. So Stokely will get her in something, I imagine.
Yeah, who do we have? Because now Statlander's got to be the aggressor as the heel against somebody for a reason. Who is it?
Who is it? We shall see.
What if she could be the Lance Storm of the women's division?
Look, she kind of is with the promos. She's not great,
right? So let's just get her literally throwing people through ceilings. Everybody dies.
Oh, you mean Lance Archer?
Oh yeah, sorry, not Lance Storm. Yeah, Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Lance
What did I
Storm
say?
as far as
Storm,
promo.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Lance Storm as
No,
far as the
yeah.
promo, yes, but
No, yeah, no, I see. Yeah, I see the similarities there too. No, no, I mean Lance Archer. Yeah, sorry, forgive me. Lance Archer. Yeah, let's get Stokely. I like Stokely being like unwilling, like or unknowingly stupid, but I also like him having a plan, right? But he's also just funny and out there, right? And a little outrageous in what he says. Now, if he could have an evil, sinister plan, he's guiding this monster. I think I might like that a little better than what we're doing with Statlander at the moment.
I'm just picturing some fun sports entertainment, which I know AEW doesn't like to say they lean into, but they should because it's fun. But just picture this. Picture a big backstage locker room, right?
Okay.
And you have Lance Archer throwing people through the ceiling, smashing someone's head, doing all that, right? And then like the camera's on them, and then you hear a commotion from behind. And so then they kind of run, they look, they turn around, and Statlander is throwing women into the lockers and stuff. But then you get a wide shot. Dude, I could shoot this shit tomorrow. Then you get a wide shot, seeing both of them fuck the locker room up, and then they see each other, and now they're fucking people up as they get closer and closer to each other. Yeah,
like,
and then you just get like
victims into each other,
and all that, and then you get them like close to close, right? And they're like, "Hey," and then Stokely's like, "Gotta go," right? And text Statlander, and Archer's like, "Motherfucker." She's not that bad.
Yeah.
And
Jake could just be sitting over there in the corner like, Jesus Christ. Seen this a million times.
Exactly. And you don't have to do anything with it. You could just say like, here's the parallels. What he does to the men's division, she does to the women's division.
All he's got to do is,
and that's it.
As she like Stokely takes her off, he can just look back at Jake and be like, you know what I mean? Just give the like, all right. And Jake can be like, yeah, you're fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, you could
that could just be like their seal of approval for her,
Exactly. Yeah, and Jake could be like, "You're falling for her," and then that's it. That's the scene. Yeah, that would be fun. All right, let's get
China back in '94.
Yeah.
So, all right, before we go too much further, I want to shout out Adam Pearson is in the chat. He says, yo, 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 yo. Thanks for joining in. Adam, this is a special episode. Tom is in Seattle right now, and he's not here live, but he did record with me his thoughts on All Out shortly after All Out when happened. So we're playing some of those clips, and then I'm discussing sort of the Fallout and Dynamite, so feel free to join in. For anybody joining in, Adam Pearson is one of our longest friends. Probably heard us on the first episode back when we were at the Spanish Announce Table. We have some of our newer friends, the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod, in the chat right now. Everybody's playing along. Statlander and Willow. Yeah, we didn't see. We saw kind of a video recap on Dynamite about this, and yeah, it was cool. It was bloody, right, or whatever. They fought. They beat each other up, and that was great. And we knew they were going to do that. And I think, honestly, they're probably on vacation for a week or two, or at least. Like, you got to take a break here, right? I love the idea of Statlander being the Lance Archer. But where will we go with this is something I'm interested in. Like, they're going to come back to each other at some point and duke this out again. But what's next for the both of them is up in the air. And I'm really excited to kind of see where we go. But Willow took a loss here, right? I think she's Teflon. I think she'll come out. The crowd will be behind her in no time. But we also got Stokely on Dynamite, but not about this. He was in the crowd clapping along, watching the tag team gauntlet, right? What is Stokely up to is another thing here, right? Stokely is up to something, and the more Stokely I can get on my television, the happier I am. That guy is money. But somebody else that's money, literally, Okada.
Let's get into the Continental Classic 4-way championship match. Mm-hmm. We have champion Okada.
I forgot. The best part about that last match, the Willow Statlander, said I predicted that one right, which helped en route to you having to wear that shirt that you're wearing right there.
There's already been times during this recording that I've thought of ways to like fucking ruin your life. That's what this shirt has done to me. Isn't that insane? You're a valuable friend. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do anything wrong to you, but this shirt, I have hives. I want to do mean things.
I know. It's almost like a full moon when it's.
Yeah, it really is a full moon of swindle and bullshit and smoke and mirrors to make myself look like the good person.
Tanning oil.
Yeah, weird. It does smell like it too.
How did the shirt arrive? Did Jeff Jarrett actually wear this shirt before he mailed it out? Because it did smell like tanning oil and Keystone Light.
Yeah, he definitely made the shirt because it's off-centered. But I digress. Let's talk about this Continental Championship match. We have champion Okada taking on Orange Cassidy, taking on Takeshita, taking on Mark Briscoe. And I think this was a good palate cleanser.
Sure.
Cleanser. Jesus, I can talk.
Yeah.
Because again, we just had the ultra violence of this street fight. And then before that, we had the flips and shits of Ospreay and Pac. So this was a good, like, hey, let's all have some fun, but not get too crazy. I think the thing we got here is Okada to Takeshita. That's what we kind of want for the championship match with the two of them. What'd you think about this?
I just think this whole Continental Classic thing is now a bust for me. We got a cool tournament out of it, but then they made it a title that's defended, right? And now I don't care about the tournament coming up again because it's a title that's defended, right? Like it just made the tournament mean less for me now. And so Okada could have done everything he did without the title. I feel it's all meaningless now. Now the match again, it's all fine, but it was filler, and so none of it really, I don't know. All fine is all I thought. I was like, this was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I agree with you. Too many titles in AEW. I think you could have had Okada be your international champion, and all the stories that we have told so far with Ospreay could be done without a title, right? We just talked about Pac and Ospreay. It wasn't for a championship like it was obviously on paper, but it was for, no, people have always said that you were better than me and I'm going to prove it tonight, right? You don't need a championship to have that match. For Okada, again, the Elite have all the gold. That works for his character and the faction. So I would just get rid of this championship. Just make it a King of the Ring style. You win to then get a championship opportunity for whatever championship you want. You could say it's going to be the international championship. I have a partner where we're going to go for the tag team championships. I want the heavyweight championship, whatever it is. Right. But like, I don't
even hate the idea of like that annual tournament. Like whoever, like I would, let's say we do one of these, the international, the continental title merge, right? And now the tournament, whoever has that title is entering that tournament and it's on the line, and whoever comes out of that tournament is going to also have the title. I'm fine with that. But like this idea that like, it's just this separate title, but there's also a tournament around it is weird to me now. I don't know. I think it could be gone. And you're right. Like I think same thing. That tournament could still be there, could mean something. Like you're saying, for any title you want. Doesn't have to be the world title. It could be TNA had something like that, right? Where it was like anything you want.
Yeah. Because you could have a young buck enter into the Continental Classic Championship, and they're like, if I win, we're going to go for the tag titles again, right? Like that's how we're going to get back to the title picture.
Like Kenny's coming back. Let's go make a run with trios.
Yeah, exactly.
R.I.P. Kenny, man. Is that dude gonna ever
wrestle
again?
Diverticulitis.
He might wrestle again, but not like regularly.
I don't think so, even just because of all the injuries and stuff. But I think he'll come back. Look, not to say he's the same type of person, but Brock Lesnar came back. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a thing that like ends your life, as far as like what you do day to day.
Brock Lesnar just probably took an animal's intestines though, and probably just transplanted it into his.
Probably did it manually too. Just had Paul Heyman hold his hand and he just goes, I'm doing this myself, Yep. But yeah, it looks like Takeshita versus Okada is what we want to do here. Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe served as good, setting the table kind of stuff in the match. And
be interesting with this Don Callis led Takeshita, and then Okada is still the cheesy heel. Again, I like that. We AEW doesn't shy away from that sometime, where we'll get face on face and heel on heel. And as as Excalibur mentioned, Okada and Takeshita come from two different promotions over in Japan, rival promotions. So this is kind of a dream match. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This would be a dream match internationally if you followed the Japanese pro wrestling. I don't.
So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I don't either. But DDT,
not a disgust or spite or nothing. I just don't.
Yeah, there's too much other stuff. Like watching the Chiefs go for their third championship in a row. And the Kansas City Royals winning the World Series this year with the best baseball player on planet Earth.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So got to watch those
and
things.
And then both of those teams running it back the next year too.
I'm just keeping it going. Keeping it going.
Yeah.
We already told you that Kansas City is the best place for sports. You don't need to hear it again, but you know it.
Go Chiefs. So, yeah, Takeshita Okada, that's where we're going. We had that little showdown on Dynamite where Okada was mocking how easy his victory was. And Don Callis, and Don Callis is another guy I can get more of on my TV. He, kind of like, you're a bitch, paraphrasing, of course. And Takeshita, they get the stare down. And then, Okada throws a bitch in there, which, everybody loves that. So we are going to get that. And I know there's a lot of story behind that, as Tom mentioned, that is outside of AEW. So I'm sure that'll be cool for a lot of folks. And this will be a cool match. And I don't hate how they're telling the story, right? It's loose. There's not a whole lot of substance here. But even the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod here in the chat says, so looking forward to Takeshita and Okada. Yeah, look at these guys. They're going to put it on an amazing match. And both of them are good storytellers. And then you got Don Callis in the mix. Can't do something bad with Don Callis. Really. So what else? Oh, yeah, let's move into, this happened.
TBS Championship match, Mercedes Moné, Hikaru Shida, and
that happened.
Shida is awesome.
Yep.
I like Shida. She's always been good. It made no fucking sense at the end of this match for her to be conflicted to hit her with a kendo stick when Mercedes did nothing. She never once did a fucking low blow or hit you with the chair. So why would you just now be like, I can't beat her. I'm going to hit her. No, I'm not. Too many baby faces in peril right now. You had Willow earlier in the night going I can't. No, that's a best friend. Yeah. And then you had Shida. Yuck. I don't know.
I didn't like any of this.
Well, also what I didn't like, and I think I have a real theory on this, not some attitude thing, is Shida hits Mercedes with 3 finishers in a row. 1, 2, 3, goes for a pin, and Mercedes just gets the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even kick out, just rolls out.
Yeah.
Now, as people do online, speculation and insults start at an instance. And they're like, oh, Hulk Hogan over here, just not kicking out a finish, all that stuff. Here's what I would theorize. And I got help from my wife because she noticed it too, kind of casually watching in and out the pay-per-view. Mercedes wig, whatever, was about to fall off.
So she
rolled out and just instantly grabbed her head because she was about to be bald Mercedes Moné. And that don't get erased from the internet. You know what I mean? So what's worse, kicking out of a finisher at 1 or being bald? So
where people already think you have Hogan tendencies. Yeah. So you might as well get the fuck out of Dodge before you become. Yeah. I don't even know. There's got to be some way to turn CEO into something about being bald.
Yeah. Because
wig or weave.
Yeah. It could be the, what was that one, Men's Warehouse, right? I'm not only, that was
what
is it? I'm not only the CEO.
Yeah.
I'm not only the CEO. I'm a customer as well. Whatever it was. Yeah, that could be it right there.
Old guy reference.
Well, come on, classic TV. I'm addicted to television. But I think that was it. And if you watch the match post that moment, almost every single time she is grabbing her head and bringing her hairline down towards the
so somebody's
eyebrows.
Getting fired in costumes.
Well, it might be. So Mercedes wins. Lot to do about nothing really here. Didn't really need
what's
it.
Next,
but
even next person in the maybe Statlander. I don't know, but that's 2 heels. That didn't.
I would just go Camille. I would just be like, this is done. We don't need Mercedes with muscle for that much longer. She's Mercedes. Yeah. Just hit her with a brick right in the back of the head. Call me a brick house. Bitch, take a brick to the back of your head.
Brick a bitch.
I would do that. Let's just shotgun it because is anyone like, no. Camille still needs to be with Mercedes. No.
The whole thing
Just do
is,
it.
though, I think right now, because of this feeling, we're gonna cheer Camille. Like that'll be, we're gonna be down.
Oh,
You better
yeah.
have the merch ready. We better
Mhm.
get Brick a Bitch going.
Yeah, you could do that, or, and this would be another easy one. You could do Jamie Hayter, right? Mercedes,
Yeah,
Jamie Hayter. There you go. Here's the thing, though, that I would push back on just a little bit. And I get it. Mercedes is Mercedes, Sasha Banks, all the stuff, right? TBS championship isn't the women's championship, right? We got Mariah May over here just hanging out. I think maybe the women should direct their attention towards her, not Mercedes.
We haven't focused a lot of face women's, contenders right now. Now you did mention we got a hater. We have DMD, I thought, unless she's in trouble.
Yeah, who knows?
And then, Sheeta's there, right? But it's hard to kind of build storylines around Sheeta, I think.
After this, especially.
Yeah, so I don't... Queen Aminata it is, I guess.
We shall see.
So, we didn't see anything on Dynamite from either of these, Sheeta or Mercedes. So I don't know where we're going with it. In hindsight, I do think there was a wardrobe malfunction issue that led to sort of that behavior. I just also, the match itself was not, it was fine, right? Fine. Before we get into the next two matches of All Out, because the next two matches of All Out, the final two matches, set the stage for so much of what we're going to talk about in Dynamite. It's insane. Most of what happened on Dynamite was some sort of fallout or unrelated to these final two matches. But I want to touch on the learning tree situation on Dynamite. I think we're finally getting to the end of this thing. The line Jericho delivers of there are no friends in wrestling. If you think you have a friend, you're probably being used. And we get Big Bill kind of being like, wait a minute, bitch, are you talking? Like, he had that moment of just like, wait a minute, what? I don't think he sold it enough. It was slight and nobody kind of mentioned it, but they hung there. So I think he could have a little more facial expression, but they'll work that out in the vignette. I think it'll be fun. So hopefully we're getting to the end of this somehow. What will it ultimately have been for? Yeah. Then we got the Christian Cage promo kind of to start the show where he's involved at the end of one of these matches that we're going to talk about from All Out. But the line of the night of calling himself the reigning, defending, undisputed, next AEW World Champion is just a chef's kiss. I can't think of a better tongue-in-cheek thing that Christian Cage does, right? He just finds a way to just be like, you're such a dick. You're just such a dick. Wrestling with Neurodivergence upon the chat says AEW's Instagram did have a thing with Chris snapping at Bill at the Bentley. Right, there was the Bentley thing on Dynamite, and I forgot. Okay, so he brings his Bentley and they dump a bunch of pennies on it. Okay, I know that would cause some damage and it would cost several $1,000s at a paint job and whatnot. But is this really got that fucking multimillionaire there, didn't you? I don't know what that was really. If I was Jericho, I'd have been like, what a bitch, right? I don't know. I think they thought that would come off a different way than it did. Rain the pennies down on them, right? Instead of the car. I don't know. But Christian Cage hanging out here in this weird storyline surrounding the AEW World Championship is one of the weird, I don't even know what to say, right? A wild card in everything that we're about to discuss. This whole wild situation to begin with. And it started with the world title match from All Out.
AEW Men's World Championship match. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus the TNT champ, the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Jack Perry's great, isn't he? When he's in Chicago, he knows exactly what's going to happen and he's prepared for it. And he fucking just leans right into it. He does the thing like Raven. He's just doing all the bullshit stuff that would just get under some Chicago fans craw, motherfucker. Love it. Also, side note, heard some fuck CM Punk chants at this show in Chicago proper.
Well, there was a point where I think they were doing a backstage segment or something. Oh, it was a Jack Perry moment. And people started to chant CM Punk, and you could hear the crowd being like, no, fuck you. Starting to fight back. And that's where I think you got that out of that. Yeah. That kind of happened when we were there a couple years ago too, but I think it was louder this time saying, no, done with this guy.
Look, we're there at All Out 2022, Brawl Out, if you want to call it that, whatever. The loudest fucking reaction the entire night was for MJF when MJF was staring, not face to face, but staring at CM Punk in the ring. And CM Punk tried to do the I'm the champion, and that did fucking nothing. We just said, nope, MJF, motherfucker. MJF. And that was in Chicago. So,
yeah. I heard him scream louder for Jay White in 2022 than they did for Punk.
That was a huge pop. Yeah. All right, but we get the Jack Perry versus Bryan Danielson match. Really fun here. We get a lot of selling from Jack Perry. Bryan Danielson still doing his amazing work. Ref bump happens, and as mentioned, I believe on Dynamite, the EVP said, we will do anything to get that championship in our faction. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. And here comes the Young Bucks, right? The EVPs. And they do the whatever EVP driver, all the shit, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to hit him with the knees, the clash of the knees to the skull, whatever that's called. And here comes Claudio and Yuta. We got you, motherfuckers. Get out of here. And so they chase off the EVPs. And then with that, Danielson gets the victory over Jack Perry, 1, 2, 3. Hey, that was cool. But then we get this post-match thing real quick where Jack Perry and Luchasaurus or Killswitch have this face-to-face because Killswitch comes into the ring and mollywops old Bryan Danielson in the back of the head. And here's Jurassic Express going, and we've lived a lot of life in the last time we've seen each other. What do you think of that?
Amazing moment. And leading up to this, I like that we're establishing Jack Perry as like this. He accepts defeat in the like, all right, well then fucking give it to me, right? Like the fire thing that this, he's like, all right, fine, I'm going to earn it. Let's go, right? Like he's not shying away from shit. This moment,
true. That is true though, because when he took the knee, the running knee before he did the Raven pose.
Like, all right, then fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I'm beat, I'm beat. Fucking
yes, I forgot about that point.
That was great. He got some self-harm tendencies there. So this though, with the Luchasaurus, the weaving in and out of the storylines over tonight. Well, or not tonight, the night, right, was awesome. And this here, so Killswitch, and it didn't even register that Jack Perry was even in the ring at the moment, right? He comes out and I'm like, oh, I forgot Christian's got the thing. So I'm immediately, I think I text you, I was like, they're not gonna fucking retire him right now, are they? Like, if he loses the match, he fucking, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh no, right? And then I'm like, oh, but you can shit on Christian. He already had us tied, right? Like, so maybe he punks Christian out is where I thought. And then we got that moment. They're staring each other down. I'm like, is Jack Perry involved in this? Is he going to be with Christian? Like, what's going on, right? Are they going to fight? Are they going to kiss? What is going on, right? And then it kind of, we get away from that for a second because then we get, Dad's music enters, our father.
Yes, Dad's music does hit. But yeah, because what's interesting is generally speaking in pro wrestling lore, when two past teammates have come kind of staring at each other in the ring, one's at least good and the other one's bad, right? It's not or they're both good. One of those that, hey, and then they hug, right? Something like that. I can't remember too many times where it's like, hey, we're both the fucking devil, aren't we? Isn't this fun?
I can only think maybe the Shield did a moment like that, maybe somewhere.
Possibly, but you know what I mean? Like we're the devil, and this is pretty fun to be the devil. Why the fuck were we doing all that other bullshit, right? It was a little, like maybe that's what they were thinking. But so Christian's music hits. And here he comes.
But it also gives me a glimmer of hope that we might be.
Oh, we're getting it. We're getting it.
We might be there.
We're getting it soon. We're getting it soon. But before we get there, we got some fun to talk about.
Okay.
So Dad's music hits. Christian and the family come walking down. Luchasaurus was already in the ring because he beat up Bryan Danielson. And they come right down to the end of the entrance ramp. And then out of the fucking blue, Jon Moxley standing there looking like, a Gap model from 2008 with his too tight white shirt on. And he's like,
had the V-neck too, right? Like,
yeah.
I saw somebody said, and this is a little foreshadowing, but they said, I can't believe they did this. They said the insult to injury. I can't believe they did this while wearing his uniform.
Bryan Danielson's uniform. Yeah. So we have Jon Moxley staring at Christian Cage and the family, and they're like, And then here comes Pac and Claudio. Whoa.
Yeah, well, because they were like, oh, fuck this is one. Like, we can handle Moxley.
Yeah. And then the rest of them come, and then they're like, all right, you know what?
You caught Pac, though. Pac, that dude come out doing the Vince McMahon lean back, and then he did like a small. He was really selling that. Like,
Pac.
Like, I'm here to fuck you up, son.
Yeah. I don't think it's a work sometimes.
No.
Pac,
Yeah. On the thinks this shit is real meter, Pac's up there. He's up there high. Yeah.
So then Christian and the family, they retreat. Okay. Another time maybe. And they go away. And then here comes Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, we get Danielson's open mouth smile the whole time too.
Yeah, because he's like, my guy's got my back. Isn't this great? Yeah. During the face-off between BCC and Christian's patriarchy, Bryan Danielson is like, man, this is awesome. Off.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Yeah, fuck
my
Christian,
guy's got
that
my
guy
back.
Sucks.
Yeah, he was about to retire me. Fuck him. No, he isn't. Right. And so then the Blackpool Combat Club get in the ring, and then we're celebrating, right? Hey, this is great. Dun, 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 dun. Well, we get a hug from Jon Moxley.
Right. Yeah,
we get a nice embrace hug. And I can't remember too many times in AEW that Jon Moxley's hugged like that.
No, yeah. They never did this, like, the Blackpool Combat Club was never like the let's bro hug it out while we beat people's ass. It's always been just combat. Just combat.
Yeah.
We fight. There's never been this, okay, now we hug it out. No. They've never done this. Yeah.
The only time I can think that Jon Moxley has actually ever hugged anyone, I believe, was when Eddie Kingston beat him in New York after the pay-per-view. And Moxley, but he just did a quick, like, love you, brother, out of here, right? Here's your moment. And then he celebrated the Continental Classic Championship, right? But this was I
get the feeling Moxley even hugs his kids. You know what I mean? Like,
probably doesn't, Yeah. But this is a long embrace. He even kissed him on the forehead. And then they do the whole let's pose, right? Now, here's where my wrestling senses kind of started to tingle is we're staying on this shit a long fucking time. And if you've ever watched AEW for more than 2 weeks, they cut really quick. They ain't fucking here to go. They cut shit sometimes too quick, right?
Yep.
Like, what the hell? Let that moment breathe. Nope, got to get to the next thing.
Nope.
And here we are, just loving it out.
To me,
right?
same shot, arms up, everybody. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going bad.
But the fucking amazing performance from Danielson here. So Claudio has one of his hands and he turns European uppercut.
Mm-hmm.
Danielson falls on his ass, but the fucking great storytelling is it didn't even really hurt. It was the shock that you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, he's like, this is happening right now? Like, you didn't think, like, why did you even stop that one if you were going to do that? Just kind of like, what? Like, it was that. It was like I didn't even see this coming, right? Like, I didn't even, I expected a guy like Christian, right? But
yeah. Kind of like when in movies, when someone gets shot by the friend or whatever, and they're like, what the? No. It was that same feeling of like,
okay, we were boys.
Do this. And then murder happens because Jon Moxley then has a plastic bag, puts it over Danielson's head, and he's fucking braving it. Now, again, we are ramping up the violence of this pay-per-view. I will also say, Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler did this in the 80s. And I think, quick note, wrestling should make you feel uncomfortable when they do fucking mean shit.
Yeah.
It shouldn't make you feel like, oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hate this either. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, there is the one thing of like, just make sure kids aren't doing this shit, right? But like, this is a pay-per-view, right? Like, it's fucking late at night. Like, that's on you if you know what I mean? If the kid has access to it at this point, right? We're not doing this on Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like,
I got a bone to pick with you, right? When you just said that.
Go.
You and I had a long conversation on a previous podcast, might have been Spanish Announce Table. And I told you, hey, I don't want intergender matches. And you're like, oh, it's fine. I was like, I don't want kids. I don't want boys beating up girls on the playground. And you're like, hey, it's fine. You were all for it.
I did not say it's fine for boys to beat up girls on the playground.
No, you were saying like,
we need to roll that back a little bit. Lest any new listeners think something.
Yeah, but when you were saying like hey, parents, come on, step it up, right? You were fine with it. No, same reason. Anyhow, I digress. Let's go back to this. Totally said it.
We'd have to break down the differences over a much longer episode.
But you know what I'm saying. Same similarities.
I know what you're saying. I know why you're wrong. That's why I say we'd have to go over
right. But we have murder here, right? So boom, we're fucking.
Which you just said is okay. You're like, yeah, no, it's okay. It's murder. No, just.
You know how many times murder happens? No, I'm kidding.
No, and so again, this was all like, uncomfortable here, but another key part of this story here that
Willer Yuta, Pac. Now, I get the performance, right? Let's break just for a quick second.
Sure,
I understand what we were trying to go for, but the idea that Pac is superhuman strength and just holds Yuta.
Yuta never tries to roll. He never tries to drop. He never tries to get him to the ground, right? Then it's believable. You've got him in a, you know what I mean?
Or just splitting hairs, have Claudio help, right? Have both of them fucking pulling up. But here's another cool part. I've watched this thing now 3 times because the storytelling is just layers on layers of just goodness, right? If you go back and watch Yuta's yelling at Claudio because he doesn't understand. It's almost as if he's pleading with the one person who should have reason in all this. Hey, Danielson's kind of crazy. We fucking know that Moxley's crazy. Pac, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, right? We don't know him that well.
But you're the smart guy here.
You should be stopping this.
You got the degrees. You got what's up here, man?
You speak all the languages. You're cultured. You should know this is wrong.
Yeah.
And Claudio just stands waiting for anyone to, come into the ring and try their luck at stopping this. We also get Marina Shafir. Didn't really need that. But again, she's in the group. But she kicks a referee or something, whatevs.
Yeah.
But we killed Bryan Danielson.
That's honestly, we tried to kill Bryan Danielson. My biggest gripe with that is, I would have Yuta should have tried to struggle more. And then to me, it's just as easy as, okay, he tries to struggle. Now he's on the ground and you basically have him from behind a chokehold while he's watching this thing scream. And no, you know what I mean? Could have got the same shot, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the layers here, because Yuta is a trios champion with 2 of these individuals. So now what do we do with that? We had the history of Bryan Danielson and Yuta kind of thinking that, fuck this guy, right? Danielson multiple times was like, I think he's kind of a prick, right? Danielson's already saying, I'm going to die if I don't get this surgery. Now he almost died. His wife's going to be like, no.
Yeah. Thank God we didn't do the family thing here, because that would have really scarred the kids. They don't fucking know this shit's a work. You know what I mean? But then,
they probably have. I'm hoping they had the foresight to kids, you're not going to watch this episode.
No, he's not wrestling tonight. He's just doing a promo. Don't worry about it. Here's the other thing. Oh man, get choked up thinking about it.
Just this.
Oh man, it's
I can't believe they would do this to Bryan Danielson.
Why did they do this to my favorite guy? No, but here's the biggest. So I would give this segment 20 out of 10, right? It was spectacular. All the layers from Luchasaurus to the murder, right? And everything in between.
From Luchasaurus to the murder. Man, if we were doing episode title still,
that would be it. But guys, So I'm supposed to believe that if someone were to die in the ring in the future, you're just gonna fucking wheel his ass out with just you take a leg, I take an arm, and just walk his ass out like it's a European soccer match, just waddling his ass out there. What the fuck was that? Guys,
they did carry him out like a guy who flopped in a European soccer match, and they're like, "No, fuck you! You're not going to ruin this game."
Yeah, like I just don't get that. That was the only thing where I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here? Come on!"
Yeah,
like,
we
get
didn't.
a stretcher.
Yeah. Well, I liked it at one point. Like I think it was Tony Schiavone was like, "Is there police or something here?" Like we could have got that right where they were like on scene. Like what the fuck, right? Like something that seemed a little more serious than.
Waddling his
local
ass
talent
out.
carrying this guy out.
Yeah, that's what it
terrible
felt like.
One of them dudes would have dropped this motherfucker.
Yeah, and then he would have still had to be like, hey, no, I'm actually still dead. I got a black eye from this, but I'm still dead. Yeah.
Or no, he's fake dead from the thing. They actually drop him. He gets a real concussion. Now our storyline's fucked for 3 weeks.
Yeah. We're
Thanks
gonna
a lot,
do this
Stu.
now. Yeah.
God damn it.
We're putting him in a squash match with Lance Archer fucking now. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Congratulations. You have a new 8-week contract. You're fucking Lance Archer every week.
Yeah. Lance Archer for 8 weeks, you fucking dickhead. So yeah, we get this new, and I guess, again, I'm recording this with Tim on a Monday. So we'll find out what happens on Dynamite, but we get this new faction of Pac, Marina, Claudio, and John Moxley leading it, feels like.
Yeah. Is this still Blackpool Combat Club or is this a new group?
I don't think so. I would think it's a new group, right? Marina and Pac.
Yeah.
I feel like
and the whole thing
call
is
it the same thing.
That was born out of Regal. And like it would be good to just kind of wipe that away because it has no other tie there. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Just come up with something different. I am a little worried. I saw somebody float the idea that Yuta was the only one who wasn't in on it. And he was the one that had to be held back. He's the only one who hasn't spent any time in the other company.
What do you mean?
So Claudio, Mox, Pac, Shafir was even over there, yeah? This isn't some weird...
Oh, God, I get you. Okay.
Right.
No. Oh, Jesus Christ, Tim.
And there was Shane McMahon.
No. And it's Danielson.
AEW Underground.
McMahon, but the McMahon
coming back to
because he was always a B+ player. I mean, that's what Shane could say from the get.
Yep. Can't let you ride out the sunset. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to know your place. Motherfucker. No. Oh, actually, just for one match. I would just love it if Shane could fucking rip his other quad. That would just be the best.
All in the family, baby. Just keep the tradition rolling. Even if he just faked it, right? Just roll out there and let's do a work where you rip both quads. Coming in. First thing, the first time the music hits, it's Shane O'Mac. He's doing the dance. He's fucking right, and then he runs in the ring. Both quads sitting there yelling. Just do it.
God, the last time we saw him,
give him $10 million to do this. All right, let's do it. Come on, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah, because he doesn't care really about his dad. The last time we saw him, though, he tried to jump over the Miz.
Yeah. The Miz! Jump over the Miz of all people.
Like a mad gab. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Shane tears his claw.
Yeah.
Jumping over the Miz while Snoop Dogg is watching at WrestleMania.
It's like sounds like an improv practice, right? Like, all right, you're Shane McMahon, Tom is Miz. You guys are at WrestleMania. Bill, you're Snoop Dogg, the referee.
Oh my God, that was great. Oh, Jesus. But I hope that's not the case for this. Oh, man.
But even if it's not like Shane, like, is that like I hope there's not this like.
I don't think so for this reason. And maybe again, I'm wrong. We'll hear their intentions most likely on Dynamite or maybe Collision, whatever it may be. But Moxley has been such a I was never Dean Ambrose.
Right,
like, you
yeah.
fucking forget about that person.
Fuck that
So
place.
for-
yeah.
Yeah. So for him, even in kayfabe, right? Like, let's keep
Right.
it here. Even for him in kayfabe to be like, let me tell you about someone who I used to be. I don't feel like he would go down that path. Now, I do think potentially, again, determining what this angle is, Moxley saying, I've been here since day one and this shit ain't running right. EVPs think they got the shit, but they don't. I do. Because let's not forget.
He could be like, I've seen this done before, right? Maybe it's time to go back to my roots.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget.
Grow like a balding spot, blonde hair. Easy.
Well, let's also not forget that Jon Moxley walked past the EVPs and said that Jack Perry was a sweet boy. And then he helped I just put that together. Jon Moxley's like, I don't care what they say. You're a sweet guy or whatever. And then here they are after the Jack Perry, Bryan Danielson match. No, they can't be tied together. Because then why would Blackpool Combat Club earlier have fought the EVPs?
Yeah, why would they have fought them? Yeah. It'd be a weird mix. It would be a weird mix, yeah. This is the beauty of this. There's a lot to question about what the fuck happened here. Why the fuck did this happen? And where are we going from here? And what of one of the greatest of all time and our current world champion, Bryan Danielson, who's on the verge of death, let alone retirement. What now?
What now? I will say this, and this is again, hire me, Tony. Jesus Christ, you need it. We may hopefully not be doing do the same thing, but do it again kind of thing. Because as we said, we had Willow conflicted on if she should beat up Statlander. Then we had Sheeta conflicted if she should use the kendo stick on Mercedes. And we've got the EVPs doing this company needs to be ran this way. If they say the same thing, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
True.
So
let's
have a different, let's find a different mission statement for this new group that isn't Shane McMahon. So yeah, we'll see. I'm very intrigued. Wednesday night. I won't be able to watch it live, but I'll definitely catch it Thursday morning.
You get some quad rips though. Shane.
Oh, that would be the best. I would just, I will literally work for free for them, putting up the ring by myself. If you can just guarantee me that Shane will rip a quad in AEW first fucking move, I would do that for free for the rest of my life. I wouldn't even retire. I'd just keep doing it, thinking about that would fill me with such
just
joy.
Let me eat at catering. I'll sleep in the truck.
I wouldn't even need that. Yeah. Just give me a hot dog and a handshake, and I will do this for the rest of my life, filled off the joy of watching Shane McMahon again rip his quad, not doing a move. He actually didn't do a wrestling move. He just
tried
jumped.
to jump over some guy for no reason. A guy of moderate height, even.
Yeah. It wasn't Amos, right? You weren't jumping over Amos.
5'10", you know what I mean?
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, so much to get into with all of this, right? And Adam Pierce in the chat says, so Moxley attempts to murder Bryan Danielson after the match, traumatizing Yuta in the process, and then we move to the unsanctioned portion of the show. So attempted murder was sanctioned? And the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod says, what if Mox is trying to stop Shane and then honestly keep the McMahons out of AEW? And I agree. The McMahons in AEW scares me a little bit. Shane, I'm sure we could tell a cool story or two, and he'll get some jabs in if he's got some personal issues with the family, but I don't need that here. So much fallout from this. Let's start with Jack Perry. Jack Perry took on Lio Rush. He beat him, but he's driving the scapegoat short bus back and forth, and he drops the line of, people like me get crucified in this life so they can be worshipped in the next, is a great line. Be good on a shirt. I don't know where Jack Perry's going, but I don't think Jack Perry knows where Jack Perry's going. You know what I'm saying? It's a little weird. Jack Perry, though, is awesome, and he just feels raw, right? Just feels aggressive. like a loose cannon, right? Modern day Brian Pillman almost, right? Just feels crazy. So there's that hanging out there. The Jack Perry Luchasaurus moment when Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, when they're facing each other and there was just that tension, the moment, the crowd's going crazy, was something I just can't even explain to somebody, that you have to watch wrestling to get it, right? And we're getting this someday. We are getting a Dinosaur's Redemption someday, and I'm excited for it. I'm so excited for I'm a dinosaur. What else did we have here? The opening segment, though, to Dynamite. Moxley's sort of mission statement. And we said in this pre-tape segment with Tom that we probably thought, let's get away from BCC, and that was off Regal. Oh, they leaned into Regal, mentioning his lordship, talking about Bryan Danielson being his favorite. Interesting take, right? I don't know where they go with that, but Moxley's hinting at this. He does it here, and he does it when they interrupt the private party commander, right, and local talent match, and they beat them down, and then that kind of their mission statement is like, something's coming, and you all don't know what's happening, and Darby, we need to talk, and like, y'all ain't ready for this, right? They're just kind of saying a bunch of that, and it's vague, but like, it's cool. That pre-tape video was done really well, and it was an awesome way to open a show. I thought that was done really good. We give shit to AEW's production team for their sort of live production, but man, their video production team, like their vignettes and stuff, are always great, and that was one of the best. That might have been the best way they've ever opened a show. It was really good. Now, the next thing up that I had here, let's see, I had some notes down. The Moxley, we get the Darby Moxley showdown, but here's where I started getting confused and things are taking a left turn. Moxley's been calling out Darby for seemingly no reason, right? They have some personal history, but like, it was out of nowhere that he shows up and is like, Darby, we got to talk. Darby finally shows up, and now they're in the ring together, and Moxley starts to say something. Darby's like, nah, F this, and goes on a diatribe, and is like, I've known you from this, to this, to this, to this, to this, to this. But that felt out of character. Like, you were called out. Like, why are you going on a diatribe promo to this guy? Like, why aren't you waiting to hear what he has to ask or say, right? Like, felt weird, right? That felt like they went out of turn, if that makes any sense to me. But Moxley basically saying, you aren't ready for this. You don't know what's coming. And no questions. I need that title shot from you. Basically, I like that aspect where he's like, look, you don't get this. I'm going to need you to hand that to me. Come out that title shot, man. Let's go. And Darby rightfully is like, bitch, you know me, right? Like, that's not how that goes. Like, if you want this, do something about it. I did like that he threw in. He's like, are you drinking again? It really kind of cut the crowd. It really added to the tension. I just don't know. Like, it felt again out of order, and I still don't know. And I like this. I like that I don't know, but I don't know what Darby's point of being here is. Moxley, I think I do want to harp on, because we're going to talk about it more, is Moxley, though, says, you're due a title shot at Grand Slam. That's not going to happen now because the champion is indisposed. So I need that title shot. But later we got Nigel McGuinness saying, I'm going to wrestle Bryan Danielson. Now, he doesn't say it. Like, that's a bombshell, by the way, but he doesn't say it, like, for the title. But if Danielson can go, why can't he go for the title shot for Darby, right? That one kind of confused me a little bit. But let's take these two things in of themselves. The Moxley Darby promo was done really goddamn well. Like, that was the first thing I said, not even when they were done, was like, as it was still going, I was like, this is done really damn well. These guys really delivered here, felt really tense, and more questions than answers, right? That's a great way to do the storytelling. Is I had some questions, you started trying to connect some dots, and you left me with more questions than answers, right? And I'm still intrigued and I want to know more. What was the other part? The Nigel McGuinness. So I guess we're to take that he saw this opening because of that. And Nigel McGuinness said, let's book this match. And it may not be for the title, but that's interesting. If it's not for the title, Danielson is the next time he loses when he retires, or when he loses the world title when he loses? Which one is that? Does that come into play in this? And if the world title is on the line, is Moxley now mad at Nigel McGuinness? Like, does he need to say, no, I need that title shot? Be interesting to see where we go with that. There's a lot of things going on here. a lot of circling parts. This is what we talked about. This is a traveling circus. These people have history. Nigel McGuinness versus Bryan Danielson. Both guys' retirement match. Is it a Nigel McGuinness retirement match? What is going on with this? I am, again, more questions than answers, which is what AEW has done exquisitely well over the last several months. Just every storytelling that they've been coming out, especially their major stories, are just they're, I don't say who done it, right? But they leave you on the edge of their seat, and they leave you kind of questioning, what is this? What is happening? What is going on here? And I love that about it. That feels like pro wrestling to me. What we got next on All Out felt like pro wrestling to me. Did it feel like pro wrestling to you? There's been some debate over that.
They're going to join the morgue like Bryan Danielson.
When you needed an incredulous old man, he delivered
This was
the part.
Yeah, because there were so many moments where he's like, why are we doing
what part
this?
wasn't real? Was he like, Jesus, what did I sign up for, guys?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So we get all the callbacks to the fun stuff. So we get the stapler and Swerve no selling the stapler.
I like that he just brought a bucket. Like he just brought a tote and storage.
Yeah.
It's like, a Rubbermaid.
Here it is. All of it. We also had attempted murder in this with Swerve trying to hold Hangman's head down as the cage was starting to come down. What else did we have? We had barbed wire wrapped punches,
cinder block power bombs.
That was the thing. So of all these things,
they tried to paralyze that motherfucker.
Because it happened first with like the sit down backwards thing on Swerve on Hangman's back
where he went.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worse. I would have rather just collided with the thing than that.
Well, we talk about gimmick, right? Oh, this was gimmick. That was gimmick. This is the one time where I think they should have a real cinder block. You should have had that shit explode. Like, when Seth Rollins did the stomp, and the thing like that should have been what happened here. Because no, man, that because again, it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, but what's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, in my opinion, is the storyline actions. Oh my God, he used a cinder block.
Right? Yeah.
Air quote.
You're right.
We don't need to use an actual cinder block.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in the movies, when they use a gun, they're not using real bullets.
Listen,
so to take that note.
Luckily for their benefit, they nailed this. They hit him in a fine, like the best spot you probably could. But what if you miss here? You're hitting him in the upper spine or in the neck on this fucking cinder block, dog.
Yeah.
Even lower on the tailbone and shit. You could crack even where you hit him is still bad, right? But it's like probably least risk of paralysis and whatnot. But like, fuck, guys.
Yeah. Again, I like for wrestling to make you feel uncomfortable, but I like it, breaking kayfabe, to be safely done. For example, I believe Jon Moxley probably had some air going through his right hand that allowed Bryan Danielson to breathe. Like, I don't think he was legitimately like holding it all.
Like, he was holding, like, you know what I mean? I think Bryan had it like kind of cupped, so there was air constantly.
There was something happening. Yeah. But with a real cinder blocks don't know that this is a wrestling match, right? So, like, fucking God bless America.
Cinder blocks don't know that this is a wrestling match.
Yeah, that's another one for you.
It's a good shirt.
Yeah, that would be. So we get house calls into the cage, but then here we go at the end. We talked about this when you delivered this hideous shirt to me this morning. You're welcome. We get to I'd hate it. Still want to like hurt you, but see, that's the shirt.
It's the shirt. It's the shirt talking.
I if you haven't noticed, my face has been flushed because this makes me so hot.
Yeah.
Itchy.
Yeah. You're sweating, but it's green. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's Jeff Jarrett green, for all the money he tries to get out of you.
It's like all his gold jewelry.
Yeah. Never forget. He tried to sell fake gold to old people to swindle them. That's a real thing. Just like Trump wants to fuck his daughter. Hey, so then here is where Hangman does some weird stuff. Well, actually, before we get to the finish, another cool spot that I did like is Hangman had the spike of wood from the burnt down house, stabbing him in the fucking head with it. And then Swerve did it right back to Hangman. So that was pretty cool. I did
good
like
spot,
that. That was a good spot. But then we get to this finish and we get the dead eye. Okay, fine.
Yep.
And then, and again, I'm not live, but in the comments, feel free to let us know. I don't understand what the point of the syringe was.
I don't either, man. I feel like that's a mid-match part, right? If you're using it.
Yeah, I feel like it's I'm in peril. How can I get the advantage? I fucking drugged him.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I would use it somewhere in the middle of the match because it's a spot. I mean, I wouldn't have used it, really. Again, like, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that. I don't need to see the guy actually get pierced. Like, I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, another thing where you could have just said it was a spot, like you didn't even have to have a needle, right? Just stab him and I would have gone, oh my God, he drugged him.
Yeah.
But he had the advantage. That's the weirdest part about it is he had him dead to rights with the dead eye.
Yeah.
So you can win this. And then you're just like, guess what? Now.
And here's again. So kayfabe, if we're in here, this doesn't further like incapacitate opponent. It just hurts the mouth.
Unless it's a drug, right? Unless it's fentanyl.
Yeah, right.
God,
no, I get what you're saying. Like if you jab him and plunge syringe, but all we did here was like syringe through a water balloon right through his lip. And it was
like, that's true. Yeah, the spot of it was just like, oh, this would hurt, but didn't.
Like, I mean, I guess some injury, but again, that had nothing to do with the story. Of like the pig of the burnt down house. That's the spot. If you basically are stabbing his neck so much that the ref's like, all right, it's over. Like it's just done. Yeah. Then that's the spot. But I'm kind of left where I don't know where we go with either of these guys left too, right? Like,
well, so let's get to it. So syringe, and then we get 1998 chair shot to the head, Ken Shamrock style, where Hangman fucking grabs this chair, takes it behind his fucking head, and just hits
test of strength.
Swerve right in the crown of his head. A chair shot's a chair shot is a chair shot. We've been told from everyone every time we've been to a show, right? I will say this. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is I got to see that I didn't get to see. It came on my social media timeline. I saw the unprotected chair shot because AEW didn't actually show it to you.
Right.
They let you hear it, but then they cut kind of, which good camera work, right? But then I got to see a fan video of it. The seat of the chair separates from the chair itself pretty quick. Yeah. My hope is that we unscrewed that shit. Yeah. So as soon as it hits, it comes down. So you're not taking the full brunt of this fucking chair shot to the head. That's my hope, but I don't know.
Even that can go wrong and you're going to get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Remember when Sean Spears hit Cody and Cody's head just went fucking all blood?
And notwithstanding, it could go wrong whilst you have a syringe hanging out of your mouth.
Yeah. One bit of storytelling, though. Let's get into the storytelling.
Yeah.
I rewatched this a couple times, too, because it ruled. And there was good stories. I believe what Swerve was doing right before he got hit with the chair. And this is me seeing into this, maybe I'm making all this up, but it looks like he holds two fingers up to Hangman, essentially letting him know, I've got 2 victories over you, so you can beat me here, but I'm still one up on you. Maybe that's me reading into it, but he holds up 2 fingers. And I was like, unless he's just like consciously doing that, but it felt like that was intentional.
Well, here's what I know from the finish of this. We did not finish this story between these two. Forever, no. Right? Like this is not, this is never shall they meet again. No, they're going to fight again someday.
Now let's talk about
where do we go is the, but
yeah. So let's talk about that. So the ref calls off the match because that's too much for him. Okay, right.
It was unsanctioned, we don't have a lot, so that's weird.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but we don't have a long history of them just letting it continue to go, right? So whatevs, right? I guess that's
they were there to call the end of the match, right? And at some point he was like, this is over. He's dead.
He won by knockout, so he wins, right? But then we see Hangman walk up the entrance ramp, and then he turns and he goes to walk down and then stops himself. His lip starts to quiver a little bit. And then he walks back up with his back to the crowd. Then he does another turn to face the ring and just does a bloody laugh like he's a billionaire about to kick a poor person and just, What do you make of the post-match festivities, I guess you would say, from Hangman?
I like that we get Hangman's conflicted emotions on his sleeve and on his face in most of his storylines, right? From the sad, depressed, drinky Hangman to I don't believe in myself Hangman to this to like crazy going after Swerve. But now maybe he's not crazy going after Swerve, but he seems to have embraced the dark.
That's the other thing that I was going to mention is so before this match, for the first time, at least to the best of my knowledge, he comes out of the heel tunnel. Because remember when Jeff Jarrett was looking for him out of the heel tunnel and he came out of the babyface because he's like, I did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? This time, though, before the match, he comes out of the heel tunnel. And then, again, I saw a fan video. And then he goes and walks through the heel tunnel. So it could be exactly what you said. This is, hey, I've got blood on my hands, and guess what? I'm not washing them off.
I mean, he did this to me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because now, I mean, if you position it correctly, this could be like the ultimate heel in the entire promotion, right? Because you've got the EVPs who just say, this company should be ran this way. We'll do whatever we can to keep it this way. You got Christian saying your dead father's an asshole. And then you got Hangman.
So you got him doing this, and he's murdering people, right? He's nuts. He's going crazy. He's burning other houses down or whatever, right? He's just going on rampage. He's evil Hangman. And finally, Swerve comes around and is like, you got to snap out of this, dog. Like, come on. Now he's almost trying to not befriend him, but just being like, don't do this, man. You're killing, like, you're ruining everything for yourself, man. You were better than that. And he's like, I'll only stop if it's you and me, right? Like, and now Swerve's going to be like, God damn, that's what it's going to take. I got to beat the shit out of it. I got to beat this out of you. Then we're doing it, right? Like, yeah.
So here's my thought. Instant storybook telling, whatever the shit you want to call it. Booking the next angle moving forward. This is what I would do. Okay. Swerve's going away for a while because that was insane. You can't just have him show up on Dynamite, right? So he's gone. RIP. He's gone for a while, right? Hangman first goes with Jeff Jarrett, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, they still have that fucking history of whatever, right? So then we get, Hangman fucking murders him.
Hangs him. Okay.
Yeah. So we got this over here. Over here, we still have John Moxley and the Moxley bunch saying this isn't your company. We're killing all these people.
The Moxley bunch.
Yeah, the Moxley bunch, right? And they're fucking killing people, right? They're doing their stuff over here. Then after you get through with Jeff Jarrett for Hangman, you do another one. Let's just say, hypothetically, it's Orange Cassidy. He just goes, I don't fucking like that guy. He's never been anything that I've ever liked. He's what's wrong. I'm going after him. He kills Orange Cassidy. Again, kills them in quotes, right? So there you go. Then you got Moxley and the bunch, and they're then starting to take over, right? So Tony Khan, because sometimes he likes to go on screen, goes, Moxley, you can't be doing this anymore. This isn't your company. This is my company. And Moxley goes, well, then how about I fight your best? And if I win, I'm running this company and you're done. Tony Khan's like, son of a bitch. Okay, fine. Then it's Moxley versus mystery opponent. And the mystery opponent is Swerve Strickland, because he said, I'm AEW. volunteered to be the captain in the blood and guts match, right? Boom. So you got Swerve versus John Moxley, which they have some history from the Continental Classic, right? We can revisit that a little bit. We get John Moxley beating Swerve, right? Because the Moxley bunch, right? The Moxley bunch. Well, then we're going to do, yeah, exactly.
The nuts.
So then we're going to get a Survivor Series War Games type of match with Moxley's bunch, and it's going to be Swerve. It's going to be Jeff Jarrett, because fuck him. It's going to be Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Hangman. He's finally doing the thing similar to what he did with the EVPs, but this time it's, no, these guys are more evil than, no, I'm not letting them get away with it. And you do the exact thing where the final two that beat John Moxley is Swerve and Hangman. You fucking put their hands up together. This is the first time since the cage match. And they look at each other and they go right back at it. Yeah, that's what I'd do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what else I love? I love that I predicted this match correctly and you did not, which is why ultimately, Tom, the sadness shines through your eyes.
They're not going to let me through TSA because of what this did to my fucking body.
Yeah, they're going to be like, sir, there's something showing up on the scan here we've never seen before. It's moving. It's a still picture, but it's moving. I don't understand what's going on.
Let me out.
Be like, I don't know what you're talking about, slap nuts. And you're like, oh no.
Oh no. What's happening?
Oh no.
I have to go buy a guitar. Oh God.
Oh no. All right. Well, we'll let Tom go handle all that. Enjoy his new life as a gold peddling swindler and with a spray tan. So we'll let him go do that and go hop on a plane and go do whatever he's got to do while we continue the rest of the show here with the only thing that makes Tom happier than that shirt. Hello. Yeah, man. What a match. Wrestling with Neurodivergence Pod in here says, so the announce team kept talking about how both men wanted to torture each other, hence the syringe. Plus, I believe Swerve has used needles on the indies before, and on playback, no injection was done with the needle. And Swerve did do the two-finger thing before the chair shot, and it was reported to be a gimmick chair. And then they said, frickin' great match. And yes, it was. And as Thomas said, it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable when these two hate each other. And it did nothing for the psyche of Hangman. We didn't see Swerve on Dynamite, but the psyche of Hangman is still not right. So he's giving Renee the business. He chucks some poor soul. And Jeff Jarrett, our old buddy, old pal, tries to talk some sense into Hangman, tells him, you're going to regret the day you laid hands on my wife, which, usually that's because of, contact problems. But this time, it's because Jeff Jarrett's going to kick your ass, I guess. And then Hangman basically says, when nobody asked you, and beat the shit out of him. And as Wrestling with Neurodivergence Pod says here, I love the unhinged Hangman. Dark Hangman, as it were. I still am saddened that he shuns the Dark Order's friendship, their embrace. And I think it was Evil Uno who said, I don't even know you anymore, man. Hangman, what a twisted, tortured soul. So many ways we can go with this. I don't know where we're going next, but it looks like Jeff Jarrett, but that's just so probably he can murder somebody, right? Just so Hangman can murder somebody. And I guess that's where we're going to go. I am amazed at all the storytelling they fit into two shows here with All Out and Dynamite and where we're going. They have their foot on the gas with the stories. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get Tom back here next week to share some of his thoughts on what happened on Dynamite and the next go around. And as Wrestling with Neurodivergence Pod says here, AEW for the sickos. And indeed, we're eating it up. And I can't wait to talk more about it. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody go. We're going to come back next week with the full ensemble here. We'll have Tom and I and all of you in the chat. And so send us those emails, aewrapup@gmail.com, right? Text, call, video. We'll read it back or play it here. Join us live when we're threading, all_elite_wrapup on threads during the shows. I was doing it last night while Tom was out, but it's usually Tom live threading during Dynamite and the pay-per-views and whatnot and Collision. And see us right here next week for more All Elite Wrap Up.